Hey everybody, and welcome back to Newegg TV. I'm Steve, and today in our studio I have a very special guest from MSI. This is David. David, how's it going, man?
Good, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thank you so much for coming in. I mean, you guys brought in these brand new Z97 Gaming Motherboards. I'm pretty excited about learning more about it. But mainly more to that point, what is MSI bringing to the table now with their new gaming series?
Well, like you mentioned before, we are bringing today to show you our entire lineup of our Z97 Gaming Motherboards.
Awesome.
And showing off all the form factors that we are offering, including the standard ATX, Micro, and Mini. At MSI, we feel that there are pretty much four main elements that make up really good, true quality gaming.
Oh, okay.
And that actually will be your CPU, your graphics card, your network, and your audio. Now, to be honest, the first two are pretty much based on however much money you want to spend is what you're going to get out of it. You have the more you want to spend on your processor, the better, bigger, and better processor you can get. The more you want to spend on your graphics card, the bigger and better one you can get. But the other two elements for your networking and audio, that's where we really concentrate a lot of our efforts into enhancing for this new generation of Z97 boards.
I was actually going to add to that I would add motherboard, but clearly you're trying to say that the motherboard is now gobbling up more functionality than anything else. You don't need to have a discrete Ethernet card like you used to have back in the day. You don't have to have a discrete sound card if you don't want to. You're going to be able to have high quality audio and high quality throughput with today's motherboards built in. Specifically what MSI has been doing, as you said, is just developing those two factors to make you guys the best possible solution.
Exactly. Basically, we've come to the point where of those four elements that we feel are the main, most important elements of true quality gaming, our new Z97 motherboards take care of two of them.
Nice. Okay, fantastic. So I mean, this is Z97, so now we're on to a brand new chipset. What's in your opinion, the best feature of Z97?
There's a lot, but on the top of this right now, new to this new Z97 series would be the fact that we've introduced the M.2 to this new chipset.
Fantastic. So M.2 storage solution, for those of you who don't already know, you're going to get a lot of throughput. I want to say it's 10 gigabit per second throughput. 10
gigabits per second.
Cool, and it's going to use the PCI lanes, two of them if I'm not mistaken, in order to just pipe all the SATA data straight down there.
Right, and actually, if you look right here, we actually brought in one today with one installed.
Oh, perfect.
It's right there. It goes into the M.2 slot right there.
Excellent, and you can have different sizes too. What size is that? I can't tell from here.
That is a 128.
128, okay.
Yes.
And then the other two sizes below that you guys also have as well. It'll be basically able to do any other size that you need to be able to pop
Exactly,
in. So,
exactly.
Excellent, okay.
Now, for our users out there, that this actually is a multifunctional slot. If you wanted, there's a lot of talk these days about the SATA Express. Also, an option for MSI gaming customers is this slot will actually have an adapter where you can plug into that slot to hold 3 SATA Express ports.
I mean, it'll have the SATA Express port plugged in directly.
On the adapter.
So essentially you can buy a module is what you're saying at some point in the future and pop that right into the M.2 SATA slot and essentially get that connectivity for SATA Express, maybe when the SATA Express drives are available, for instance. So at some point or another in the future, when those drives are available, you guys are offering the functionality later on. But point is, right now you can get M.2 connectivity.
It is M.2 ready and is ready to go.
Awesome. All right, so let's start with networking, David. What has MSI implemented in your boards? Specifically, what chip are you guys using for your NIC?
Well, for these Z97 gaming boards, we're using the Killer E2200 gaming NIC. Nice. And simply put, what that does is prioritize the packets of your gaming traffic for a smoother, more stutter-free gaming experience.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Right.
All right. What else are you guys doing?
Well, back again on these Z97 series gaming motherboards is our OC Genie, this time on version 4. And all that is a very simple one-click push-button overclocking. It's coming right out of the box. And what that'll do, depending on your system setup, can give you up to, with a push of a button, up to 20% of an increase in your CPU and GPU performance.
Nice. I mean, clearly, if your CPU is capable of doing an awesome overclock, it'll be able to handle 20%, maybe less, depending on the system.
Exactly.
But a 10% increase is a 10% increase across the board for your system performance.
Single push button, too. It couldn't be simpler.
Right on.
Right.
Okay. What else we got?
Well, this another feature which is kind of a new and old is which a lot of your viewers might be familiar with is called our gaming app, which used to be available exclusively on our graphics cards. But now we've actually brought that over to our motherboards as well. And what the gaming app does is pretty much allow you to choose between 3 different settings. Highest being the overclock setting, and then your gaming setting being optimized for gaming, obviously, and your silent mode, which actually dumbs everything down to be the lowest power consumption possible. Now, whereas before you could only control that from the video card side, now you can control that on these new Z97 gaming boards.
So essentially allowing me to not only make my video card quiet, but now my entire chassis, everything in the chassis.
Everything inside can now be controlled, dumbed down between 3 modes. Up to you.
Nice. All right, David, so we talked about networking side. Let's talk about audio.
Okay, well, with this new Z97 gaming series, MSI has put a lot of R&D and effort into enhancing the whole audio experience for gamers. Because whether gamers realize it or not, the audio portion of the whole gaming experience is actually a big portion of it. It's very, very important. So we've added many new features to enhance the whole audio experience. Now, let's start with what we call our USB audio power. I'm going to pull this back here real quick.
Sure.
Now, what the USB audio power is delivers to these ports right here a direct 5-volt stable power signal to this port the entire time. Now, how would we do that is, how we do that here is, when you're in the box, you will find this adapter, which plugs directly into this port right here.
Looks like a fan header port. Nice.
Right. Now, this will provide direct, stable 5-volt power to this USB power port the entire time.
So you basically just take your power supply's 4-pin Molex, plug it directly into this plug here. The adapter powers the board, which basically has some lines that run directly to the USB. Instead of running it through the board itself, I'm assuming that it's going to help with interference. With
interference, gives you a cleaner, stable power, and also when you're running a direct power traditionally through the board like that, you're probably going to get about like 4.5 volts. This here, you get a solid 5 stable, clean volts the entire time.
Okay, so maybe if I have a really awesome DAC, I could plug it into there.
That's exactly what you use it for.
Okay,
right.
Great. And then I've also noticed there was a small switch down there too. What's that for?
This switch down here, I don't know if you can pan in and see it, actually controls this USB audio power system. It just turns it on and off.
So basically, if I have a DAC that maybe already is powered itself, it doesn't need to have the power from the USB, then I can just
in that particular situation, you could just hit the switch and turn it off, and the system will be disabled.
Okay, that sounds good. What else is happening?
Well, we also have a new and improved version of our very well-received Audio Boost. This year we're calling it Audio Boost 2, and it is a feature suite of many features just to help enhance the whole audio experience. That includes Sound Blaster 2 Cinema, which has been optimized for the whole gaming.
Excellent.
And also, to minimize interference, we have an isolated PCB, which you can see here. This line shielding the audio portion of this motherboard away from the whole rest of the board. This helps with the interference and the kind of static that you might receive from the rest of the board. Also, there's Emi Shielding under the Audio Boost circuitry, which is actually, you can see right here on this Audio Boost plate.
So just kind of a cap that's going right over it.
It's a cap that goes over it, just kind of protected just a little bit more outside of the actual isolated PCB. So it's kind of like a dual layer.
Nice. Those look like new capacitors too. What do you got going on?
They do. This year on the Z97s, we have upgraded our capacitors to gold Nichicon audio grade caps. Before, to MSI fans out there, you might have noticed last year that we had these dark caps on. Well, we switched them over to the gold Nichicon because these are actually more optimized and geared towards audio. And since we have such a focus on audio this year, that was the route that we decided to go, and it's going to work out real good for the gamers, and they will be able to hear the difference.
Oh, nice. So basically just focusing as much as you possibly can, all of your efforts into making the best possible audio.
Best possible audio experience, and we know that our gamers will notice the difference. Also, we have all gold-plated audio ports to help all your gaming devices and your headsets sound as awesome as possible.
So basically you guys have plated all the 3.5mm ports just to make sure that they don't corrode and
yes, and gold is just a better conductor anyway, so it just helps with the whole, giving a clearer, more powerful signal.
Oh, fantastic.
Okay, now I want to talk to you more about the stability features of these Z97 gaming motherboards. A lot of your viewers and MSI fans are probably familiar with our military class components.
Right.
And all that means is that the components on these our MSI motherboards have passed military class level testing.
Nice.
New this year, though, is something that we call the Guard Pro. Now, while military class focus more on the components like the materials that things were made of, Guard Pro is more of a feature and functions.
Okay.
So, for example, first up, one of the Guard Pro features is something called the humidity protection. Now, what that means is that this board is actually coated with a special coating to help reduce humidity absorption by as much as 10%.
So maybe somebody that lives in Florida or maybe some part of the world that's extremely humid, they would benefit from some protection like
Greatly,
this.
a little bit, up to 10% from absorbing all the moisture into your air, into your motherboard. Also, we have what's called circuit protection. Now, what this does is protects you against a short or a surge that might come and enter the motherboard to kind of harm things. So it gives you just a little peace of mind, added protection for your system. We also have what we call Eco Power. And what Eco Power is basically a power conserver for the motherboard. So if there's certain sections or features of the motherboard that are not being used, you can actually go into our command center and shut those sections off to give you kind of more of a power consumption, more power saving usage out of your board.
So if they're not being used, it'll shut off power going to it for whatever reason, maybe some part of the device or something else that's in sleep state.
Exactly, right. Back to the temperature thing, we also have a feature under Guard Pro which is called a high temperature protection. Now, all that means is that everything on the board has been military grade tested under pretty much some of the harshest conditions to ensure that whatever conditions you're going to put it through, it's going to run properly.
Basically torture the board under the worst conditions.
Pretty much. We're going to torture first before you do, just to make sure it survives whatever you're going to do to it.
Okay.
Right. More on the protection side, we have something called Esd Protection. Now, this is for electrostatic discharges. The I/O ports actually are protected against any kind of Esd discharge that might come in to harm it.
Maybe like if I'm walking around my room and I get a lot of static electricity on myself, I grab my mouse and it just pops straight down the line.
Yes, these ports would be protected against that.
Okay.
Right. Finally, we have a feature called Emi Protection. Now, what this is for EMI, which stands for electromagnetic interference. What this means is that this board complies with FCC regulations regarding any kind of electromagnetic interference.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. And that pretty much rounds up the whole Guard Pro feature set, which is coincides with our military class and works together. So I don't want to give any impression that our military class components are gone. They're still there, but we just have added on these new Guard Pro features to make it a complete protective package.
Nice. So basically just add on top of whatever you guys have been doing with military grade componentry and just adding some functionality to just really make sure this hardware is going to last as long as possible.
Exactly.
Excellent. Okay. Well, thank you so much for speaking with us today, David. But before you go, I actually noticed one inconsistency here. I'm not sure if you guys noticed too, but there are 3 gaming series motherboards here, but there are 4 gaming series boxes. What is the Z97 Gaming 9AC?
That is a board that we'll be releasing in the future. Okay. It's not actually out yet, but I can tell you that Gaming 9 is actually a super beefed up version that has even more features than these 3 boards I brought right here. Okay. Off the top of my head, I can tell you about one. This actually, the audio on there is a little bit different. There's actually an onboard audio sound card on that board itself called the Extreme Audio DAC, which pretty much acts as a preamp for any of your audio devices that you're going to be using during your gaming. And I think that's all I'm going to give you for right now.
That's it? Okay. Well, David, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today.
All right.
And I know that the Z97 launch has got you running ragged.
Oh, yeah.
So we really appreciate it. And we appreciate you guys also for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Newegg TV for more videos just like this one. And until then, we'll see you guys very soon.